Alright, how you guys doing today? Today's story is coming from r/confessions. First things first though, make sure you like the video and make sure you leave a comment. We'd love to hear what you got to say about the story. And today's story is coming from RkaWrld, titled, I lied to my teacher about my father being terminally ill to get an extension. A few years ago, I walked into class in the morning. I had been recently upset due to a relationship problem, and my eyes were pretty red from crying. My teacher, whom I was very fond of, approached me to ask me why I hadn't handed in a huge assignment that had been due on that day. Frantically, not wanting to disappoint my teacher or bring down my grades, I decided to use my puffy eyes to my advantage. The first thing I could come up with was, my dad might have lung cancer. I just found out. My teacher's harsh expression immediately melted into a sympathetic smile. She told me that I can get as much time as I needed, and I thanked her. From that day until the day I graduated, said teacher was constantly asking about my family situation, and I felt so heavily guilty about having lied for such a serious matter just to get out of doing work. And somebody in the comments says, so fair. Thank you to all my non-existent grandparents for dying when I don't want to work. And somebody else said, technically my grandparents did die. It just took me 20 years to take bereavement days. And somebody else says, I lost about 6 grandmas during high school. RIP. And somebody else said, I got a couple in the chamber just in case I can't get my vacation days approved at work. And somebody else in the comments said, one of my college professors once refused to give me an extension because it was my third passed away grandfather that I had this year. And somebody else says, back when I was in college, I had a professor that joked one day that his finals were cursed because whenever they came around, grandparents would just start dropping. Ironically, when his finals did come around, I got a call from my mom telling me that my grandma was in the hospital and had limited days left and told me to come home immediately. Super awkward bringing that one up to the professor. And somebody comments, well, at least you didn't explicitly state that he actually had it. That would make it a lot worse. Hope he's doing fine though. And somebody said, oh man, this reminds me of a story. My brother was handy with Photoshop, and his roommate came in frantically Sunday night and said he needed a fake obituary for his grandma. Well, grandma didn't die, and he was using a fake funeral to get out of work. The work even sent him flowers. The idiot didn't stop. 3 months later, he repeated the same and said his other grandma died. Once again, fake obituary and funeral. Well, the workplace wasn't falling for it again. They Googled and pretty much confirmed it through page 10. And his change of story. And then he got fired. He should have stopped at 1, but he thought it was okay to go for broke. And somebody else comments, I work in a well-known university. I've had a significant number of students who have all 4 grandparents die in the space of 1 academic year. One student wrote her essay paper and then lost the paper. Last week, one of my students told me she couldn't submit her essay on time because her dog chewed the Wi-Fi cable up. Your teachers know it's bullcrap. There's nothing they can do about it though, so we just smile and say, oh, that sounds terrible, and give you an extension. It's annoying, yes, but it's also forgotten about quickly. Forgive yourself. And somebody says, sad because throughout my academics, some random stuff really did happen, and it makes the situation unbelievable to the teachers. I'll never forget in 11th grade, a boy spilled soda all over my project while he's leaving homeroom. I went to the teacher later in tears with the remains, and he just didn't believe me. Straight A student, never missed homework, treated like a criminal. And somebody asked OP, how far did you go with the lie? Did you just say, he might have lung cancer? Or did you keep going and updating her about his made-up health and treatments? And she says, no, just the first time afterwards when she'd ask me about it, I'd say, I prefer not discussing it. And the last comment, 4 score and blah blah years ago. I'm old. Anyway, I went to my junior year of high school telling my counselor that my family planned on moving and I didn't want to finish my last year in a new school. So they arranged for me to do both 11th and 12th grade in 1 year, including night school. So I could just finish it in 3 years. The reality was my best friend was graduating in my junior year and I didn't want to do it alone. They never even asked my parents. Alright, that's going to be the end of the story. Hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.